welcome to episode 30 of the Knitted Cupcake podcast. Hey! Hi. I am a little excited because I have a fun new toy. Thank you, Joann's, for having an anniversary sale because that was a whopping $5 after my coupon. Anyway, let me introduce myself. My name is Lacey. I am the host of this podcast. I reside in Eastern Oregon. I don't think I say that every episode. And yeah, welcome. If you're a new viewer, welcome to the podcast. If you're a returning viewer, hey, thanks for coming back and hanging out with me for a little while. I have some really fun stuff to show you today. Exhibit A. These are 5, count them, 5 sets of empty needles. That means I have all of the finished objects, which is really exciting. But first, let's talk about where you can find me. You can find me on Instagram as the.knitted.cupcake. You can find me on Ravelry as WOU Knitter. And we also have a Ravelry group, which if you search in the groups tab, the Knitted Cupcake podcast, hey, you'll find us. And it's quiet, but I'm hoping I've got some things in the work. So hopefully that'll get kind of up and rolling and moving and going again. So stick around, stay tuned. I will give more details to what's coming up in a bit. But first, let's talk about these needles. I mean, it just, I promise these are not needles that I've just scrounged around my house and dug up and found and collected, but they're actually from finished objects which are stacked and piled right down here. So it's really exciting. I have been in a kick, like in a mood lately of just finishing things, getting things off of my needles. I have got a really insane amount of UFOs, unfinished objects, as well as active whips. So I'm just, there's something inside of me that has just been craving finishing things. So I have started doing that. So let's dive into whips. I have 5 of them today, which is crazy. And they're not like little things either. They should all be things that you've seen before. Some maybe not for a very long time, but you've seen them. So yeah, let's start off. Finished object number 1 is this. This is my Love Entwined cowl, and I need to look it up because I put down Deborah's. Wow, Deborah's first name, but did I write down her last name? Deborah, what is your last name? Well, maybe it's not in this notebook. I don't think it's in this notebook. Oh, wait. Nope. Oh gosh, guys, I'm sorry. This is horrible. Like, what's wrong with me? Anyway, this is from Deborah. She is half of the Meanwhile at the Castle podcast, and this is her Love Entwined cowl, and I love this thing, and I want one for myself. The construction of it, hi, how's it going, what are you doing, is really cool because as you could hopefully maybe see from when I was holding it up, it was more narrow at the top and got wider at the bottom, which means it lays just so nicely. I can see this being worn. This is a gift, but knitting one for myself, how nicely does that tuck under your jacket? It's going to stay in place. It's up high enough in the back of my neck that it's keeping me cozy. Oh, it's just so good. I love it. So I'm thinking I may need to be making one of these for myself. And I'm not one to typically knit a pattern other than just like vanilla socks or like a sock hat or something like that. I don't typically knit things more than once, but I could easily see myself knitting this more than once. It's funny on the camera, and maybe this won't be so obvious once I get it in and edited, but you can see some pooling in the yarn, which, like, in person, I guess maybe you can kind of see, but it's way worse on my little viewfinder. But the yarn is Teeny Button Studios. I think it's her 75-25 base, whatever base that is. And I think the color is Blackberry Crumble. I'm not entirely sure. This has been a whip for a while now. Don't have the tag anymore. I could go back to long time ago notes maybe and find all that information, but I'm not feeling like doing that right now. But that is finished object number 1, and it's even blocked, which is really amazing. Nothing else is blocked, just that. Up next is, let's do this one. This is a shawl that was in progress last time, and that is all I had left to do on it. So stupid. I kind of wish I did it a little bigger. I'm curious to see what blocking will do. But this is the Soft as the Wind shawl by Kalura Hudson. And it's done. It's more of a little shawlette kerchief. I'm really hoping I can block the snot out of it and get it to the size that the sample that I've tried before was, because it was small, but it made for a really nice kerchief, kind of like this. Very excited, love it very much. I knit this out of So Happy Jane in her bouncy fingering base. There we go. And the colorway is Dirty Martini, and it is just the most perfect tonal olive green. I'm pretty sure I said the exact same thing last time when I showed this off, but it's so true. The center is a cable. I don't know if that's really going to show very well. And then it's just a mix of garter and stockinette and some eyelets. And it's such a easy potato chippy knit. It does have a picot bind off that when I block it out, those will get pulled out. Is not like pulled out, but like stretched out, blocked out, whatever you want to call it as well. So they'll be a little more prominent. And then there's tassels. And the coolest part about these tassels is that and I got them, okay, back up. Okay, so in the pattern, Kalura has it so that these tassels are detachable. You make the tassels and connect and attach them to a lobster claw, which then those attach to the points of your shawl. So then you can either have the tassels or not have the tassels, or if you need to reblock it, you can take the tassels off and reblock it. Like, this woman is a genius. I love her, and I love her patterns. They're always stunning, and she has a range from things that are really simple like this to things that are more, you know, intricate cable work. And I've knit a few of her patterns now, and every single one is just a joy to knit. I love knitting her patterns, and I 10 out of 10 recommend them to anybody else. So that is finished object number 2. Finished object number 3 and 4 are both socks, and neither pair, 'cause both of these have been done 2 at a time. I know, well, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure one of them you've not seen on the podcast before, because I should have shown them last time and I left them out in my car and was too lazy to go get them. And that is these ones. There are 2 of them, and these are just a vanilla sock. And I knit these toe up, and I put in Mina Phillips' little heel flap adjustment. I don't think I did it perfectly. I had to do a little finagling and pick up some stitches to close up some holes, so I don't think I did it right. I've done it top down before and it's fine, but that was my first time doing that heel flap adjustment toe up. So I don't know, maybe I just didn't follow directions well enough, but anyway, I knit these out of Alexandria's Crafts. Again, I don't know what base it is, but it's her base that's like 70% merino, 30% silk. Maybe it's an 80-20 merino silk, something like that. But it's got like silk content in it. There's no nylon, but the silk adds some toughness to it, some durability. The colorway is Dark Side of the Moon, and so it has these little flashes of like prismatic rainbows. And what I did was anytime the stitches on my needle were coming up in that rainbow, then I would purl all of those rainbow stitches, and then as soon as it went back to the gray color, then I'd knit again. I think you could probably do the same thing as the rainbow came along on the working yarn, you could purl it and then knit everything, but I just, as the stitches up on my needle became rainbow, then I purled those stitches, and that's all I did. But it creates just this great little bit of texture, and I don't know, I made it so they just had a little bit more interest than just a standard plain old vanilla sock, which the yarn looks really cool in just that standard vanilla too. So this dyer has a few colorways that have this little flash of rainbow. She also has other ones that are like black and then have just a little flash of like an ombre purple, pink, that kind of a thing. Alexandria's Crafts yarns are really phenomenal. This is the second pair of socks I've knit out of her yarn. Both are different bases. I don't think I've worn the first pair yet, so I can't tell you how they wear differently because that one I think has cashmere in it. But her yarn is always so bright and colorful and happy, and I can't get to another skein of hers that I have. I don't think. I think it's buried. Yeah, but I have another skein of hers. Oh no, it's in a project, and that's another one that has silk content in it. And yeah, great yarn, great dyer. Check her out. Finished socks. Okay. My other finished socks aren't going to go on the blocker because they're too small for the blocker, because they are socks that are not for me. And these, I'm sure I showed on the podcast, probably would have been January, because I started these the week after Christmas. And these were my road trip socks when I was going down to Arizona with my mom. And I can't tell you the colors. But I do know the yarn is dyed by the Knitted Wit. Another dyer who has such phenomenal taste in color and great dyeing techniques. I mean, look at those speckles. Like, who can do this? Not me, that's for darn sure. And so what I can't tell you a whole lot about these other than the fact that they are just vanilla. I did them toe up. No. Yes, I did them toe up. Did the toe in the gold, 3 rows of the speckled, then 5 more in the gold. Knit, 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 knit. Fish lips kiss heel. Knit, 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 knit. 5, 3, and then I don't know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 rows in a 2x2 cuff with a, I want to say it's the Icelandic bind off, so it's not as, I mean, it flares out a little bit, but not quite as bad as Jenny's surprisingly stretchy bind off, and it still has gobs of stretch to it. So I tend to like that bind off a little more because I don't generally feel like I need the excessive, and there's 2 here, sorry, the excessive amount of stretch that Jenny's surprisingly stretchy bind off gives me. The only time I'll do that really is in like a shawl, that bind off edge on a shawl, if I really know that I'm going to want to block it crazily. So that is that one. Finished object number 4. Okay. My last finished object. I am probably the most excited about this one because it was a bit of a birthday present to myself. You did see it in progress last time, and now it's done. Like, I need to weave in ends and block it, but it's done. and that is my time trades. And this is a pattern by Caitlin Hunter, and it is a pattern that she, oh hey look, there's a little teaser, that she came out with like early 2017, I think, and so it was before Sunset Highway, which for me was the big pattern that kind of put her on the market. So this was pre-Sunset Highway, and so it's not one of her more popular patterns, although it's kind of like popping up now. People are seeing that it's there and more people are knitting it, but I think I still kind of got on it before the world knit it, and it is amazing. I'm not going to be able to show it all, but it goes on and on and on, and I love it. And then there's the other point. It's knit on a bias, and it's a mix of garter and feather and fan, and it just is amazing. And even pre-blocked, I can wrap it around my neck very nicely, and it's cozy, and you can see the colors, and it's so bright and happy, and I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So I knit this out of So Happy Jane, again, in her bouncy fingering, again. And for the beginning, I just, what am I attached to? I'm attached to my thing. Oh. Okay. Fixed. I dropped one of my little cedar rings. I'll pick that up later. This beginning part is knit out of just minis of hers that I picked up at her trunk show. She doesn't always have minis available. The pattern just calls for 5 20-gram minis, and they really need to be 20 grams because I was left with like just a teeny tiny little bit afterwards. The one I have the most left of the pink, but other than that, minuscule amounts of the other colors left. So you really need a 20-gram mini. I've been told that Hedgehog and Madeline Tosh Unicorn Tails, those minis don't have enough yardage. So keep that in mind. Has to be at least 20 grams. Say it with me, 20 grams. Anyway, so just minis. I'm sure she has names for these colors. I just don't know what they are. The orangey one might be Anne with an E, but that's the best I got. And then the gray and the light pink speckle with really bright speckles. The gray is Writings on the Wall, and then this is Junebug, and I'm showing you the wrong side. Whoopsies. And I love it. I knit on this a bunch when I was up in Seattle this last weekend, and I went to go see I call her grandma, but she's a friend of mine, her mother. We visited her in a rehabilitation home that she's in right now, and I was sitting there. She's also a knitter. She knits baby blankets for, she calls them crack babies. But they're the babies who are born who are addicted to drugs because of mothers making poor choices and whatnot. So she's a knitter, and so I had to bring her my project to show her what I was working on. And I got so many compliments from nurses who came in and out, and I had one lady's like, oh man, you could sell that, and you could sell it for like $150. Well, honey, that's not gonna happen because the yarn cost me damn near $100. So, and like, it was just the weirdest thing. She was trying to like convince me that I needed to be selling what I knit. And I know it was coming from a good place and as like a compliment that my knitting looks really nice and is of the quality that it could be, people would buy it. But all that aside, like, I don't really want to sell my knitting. I will every once in a while. I'll take commission work, but not often, because anytime I do that, I never want to knit it, because then it turns my hobby into a job, which I have enough jobs. I'm a full-time teacher, I'm a full-time student, like that's more jobs than I want to have, and my one outlet to be creative and to just, I don't want to turn that into a job. So thank you, my love, for, you know, giving me that kind of compliment, but no. People just don't understand it, and I feel like you, my fellow makers, get it. I mean, I love my indie dyers who have been able to turn, you know, their hobby into a job, because then it feeds my hobby. Pattern designers, again, awesome, great. I just don't think I will ever, I'm not gonna say never, because never say never, but that is just not something that's on my radar right now, as neither is making something like this labor of love and then selling it. Like, that's just not for me, not what I want to do. Moving on. That is my whips. I have, yes, all of the whips. I love them all. They're all great. Yeah, okay. Rant is over. Let's take a drink and continue. Oh, so I am drinking a raspberry lime Spindrift, and it is in my favorite little drink koozie ever. Live happy with the llama. I love it. It's a little small for cans, I think. Like, if I've opened a can, it's hard to get it into the cozy. Bottles are really easy, so I think it's more for bottles than cans, but who doesn't want a llama koozie? And this is from, got it from a little boutique close to me, but it's, oh gosh, I can't remember the brand name, but it's like a total little hippie Nature Life or something like brand. I love it. So that is what I am drinking on right now. Okay, whips. I don't have anything new to show you, which is, oh, just lies. That's totally new. I have two oldies to show you though, which is really exciting. Again, like I said, I was itching to get things going and projects going, and yeah. So first up, we'll do this because this is the oldest of the whips that I have picked back up. And this is living in one of my Little Fish Stitches bags. I love her bags. I will brag on them every episode I can. And these are a pair of socks. These socks I think I cast on at Thanksgiving last year. What are you gonna do? And these are the Snowfall socks. Oh gosh, so much yarn. Let's take them out of their little case. Goodness. Oh, that was the wrong one to undo. I'm a mess. Okay. These, I love knitting with the needles. I hate showing them off. These I am knitting on some Chagu mini twists, but these are the Snowfall socks. And this is a pattern by Tabitha Gandy of the Hey Sister podcast and Hey Sister Yarn Company. I have heels. I just put these in this morning. Da, da, da. Yeah, so first off, thanks to all of the peeps who voted on my Instagram poll, encouraging me to tackle another whip, because that would be these. And I had already started tackling these before I posted that. But because I had been working on them, I was not feeling well yesterday. And so these were my comfort knit. I knit I was just above the marker, but really most of that was knit yesterday, and then popped some heels in this morning, which means now that the heels are done, I just have to knit the leg, which is easy. The heels are always kind of the most tedious part, and that's generally where I stop working on a sock for a while. That's when I'm like, I'm gonna put you away for a while. because I don't want to do the heels. So it feels good having the heels in and ready to go. Yarn, Lord. The yarn that I'm knitting these out of is Hey Sister Yarn in their gold Stellina base, whatever base it is. In the Can't Take the Sky From Me. Really lovely light speckles, a gorgeous kind of periwinkle lavendery type of color with light blue and kind of golden speckle, like goldy. Here, let me just keep shoving this in your face. Gosh, I don't know what the deal is. Actually, I know what the deal is, and we'll talk about this in chatter because life, guys, life. So that's this whip. So I'm gonna keep these as some good TV watching socks, and we'll continue on with them. Yeah. Ooh. Stop it. Alright. Oh, and these I'm knitting on the ChowGoo Mini Twist US 1. The cords are awesome to knit with. They're just a pain in the butt to show off because they're so flexible. They have no body to them really. Like I said, great to work with, pain in the butt to show off. Okay, next whip is another oldie but goodie, and it is living in my scrappy thread. Yep, scrappy thread bag, one of our wool bags. Oh, I love them. Look at all my little pins on there. It makes me so happy. Okay, living in here, if you've forgotten, which you probably have because it's been so long since I've shown it off, is my Comfort Fade Cardi. And guys, I'm so close to being done with the body. I considered not podcasting until I finished this damn ribbing, but I chose not to because this is real life. So, I mean, I haven't gotten a whole lot added to it, only a few rows. I'm gonna not try to balance out on my leg. But yeah, you can see my marker, there it is right there. So only, I think like that's 6 rows maybe, but it's almost done. I think the ribbing needs to be like 3 inches, which I've got 2. So a couple more rows and then I'll be done. But this is it. This is my Comfort Fade Cardi. And guys, isn't it so pretty? Look at that. I love it. This is being knit out of So Happy Jane. I think her DK base is called Delightful DK. Let's see if I can remember the colorways. I couldn't remember them when I was doing my show notes, so I didn't write them down. The top is Agate Beach. Spin Me Round. Spun right round? Spun around. Spin me round. Something about spinning and around. Ooh. What is that one? This one. This one. I can't remember. And the lightest is Contemplation. I can't remember that one. Oh, it'll come to me. But yeah, that's it. So I am so close to being done with the body, and then I can be on to doing the giant collar and sleeves, and ta-da! I'm really excited. I'll be honest, not entirely sure it's gonna fit. I'm glad it's supposed to be a open cardigan, but even then, like, we're getting close. I still have, what, that's probably 4 inches between, so again, life. So yeah, that's that. But it is kind of next on my radar of big things on my needles that need to get finished, because I'll talk about this in life stuff too. I have my next kind of, ooh, guys, I might have the tag in here. How crazy would that be? Do I? Well, that's contemplation. Spin me round. Of course, I'm not going to have the one that I need. And her base is called Delightful Decay. Nope. Oh, nope. I have little 12-inch circulars for the sleeves, which make me really excited. So I think what I will do next is once I'm done with the body, I don't know what the pattern calls for. I don't know if it tells you to do the collar or the sleeves next, but I think I'm going to do the sleeves next because I think with those 12-inch circulars, they will fly. Okay, last work in progress. I think this is going to be a quick episode. Watch me eat my words. This is my last active whip. Again, in another Little Fish Stitches bag, but I don't think it's a bag you can buy. Anyway, this is Birds of a Feather by Andrea Mowry. And this is yarn that I purchased or ordered from Do You Knit all the way over in New Jersey. I think they're in Jersey. I don't think they're in New York. I think they're in Jersey. Ah, look at that. I am knitting this out of Hedgehog Skinny Singles and Kid Silk lace in the colorway Park Life. Both of them are in Park Life. But the mohair is way different. Like, it just looks kind of that minty sagey green, which is totally fine by me. I go back and forth between loving that the mohair looks almost solid and wishing that it was more speckled like the Skinny Singles, but I can't decide. I keep going back and forth. And I am on section 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wait, no, 7. I'm on section 7, which is the final Feather and Fan lace section. I just started it. I'm only a couple rows in. Before you sew, pretty soon I will be done increasing, and then I'll do one of these things until I'm done. So yeah, I'm really excited. Mohair, guys. I've understood the mohair craze. Well, I mean, I've seen it and been aware of it, but I've never really fully understood it until I got a real, not a real mohair, but a mohair with a silk in it. Because one of the mohairs that I've been working with on another languishing whip doesn't have any silk content. It's mohair and nylon. And so it's a bit rough. But this is like butter. Oh, it's so, I mean, it's so floofy. I mean, look at the floof. I mean, it's just, it's straight up fluff. It's amazing. I love it. Boris loves it. He was sticking his little nose in it the other day. And it's just, it's not pokey. It's not scratchy. It's so nice. Skein one. It's a bit of a blob. But yeah, this mohair is amazing. So I'm sure I'm just talking to a wall right now, but if you're gonna knit with mohair, do the mohair that has the silk in it, because it makes it so much more pleasant and will be so much nicer to wear. So that is my Birds of a Feather shawl. Again, patterned by Andrea Mowry. And that's it. It's my whips. Like, knitting, done. Ooh, I'm gonna take a, I don't even know why I do this. And I wonder why podcasters do this. And maybe it's just because we feel like we're talking to people in the room with us. Because I sure do. Because I know I've done it more than once. And then every time I edit, I'm like, oh, nobody even noticed. Or I could have just not said anything and it would have been fine. But I want to go grab something really fast and then I will be back. So I'm going to take a moment. But it's only going to be like that for you. So whatever. I'm back. But you know I'm back. So I'm in a mood, guys. Okay. So my awesome knitting friend Chevis, who is Chevy Rel, has the Chevy Rel Stuff podcast, and I swear, if you know of me and you don't know of her, go find her, go watch her, because she cracks me up. She's awesome. I want to be Chevis. No, I know, I don't want to be Chevis. I want to be her BFF. And we're friends, but I want to be her BFF. So, Chevis. Anyway, she is knitting an In the Light shawl. For those of you who may not know or have forgotten, this is, let's get it untwisted. Oh gosh, it's so big, guys. And this isn't even blocked. I'm not blocking this sucker. This is my In the Light shawl. Fringe and everything. Oh, it has been sitting with the other things that have been blocked though, and so it smells like my tough woolens. Oh my gosh, guys. I keep catching things on my cabinet. Oh, it's so great and squishy. Anyway, this is a pattern by, and I could laugh because, okay, so Chevis has been pronouncing this person's name as Casey Day Crozier. That makes all the sense, because I was like, Crozier? Like, I was trying to make this person French, and maybe they are. But they're probably not. Crozier makes so much more sense. And, you know, there's a good chance we're both pronouncing it wrong. Both ways that it's been pronounced. But anyway, In the Light shawl. It's amazing. I love it. It has a built-in fringe. I knit mine in like 11 days because I'm crazy like that. Chevis is trucking along on hers, and I cannot wait to see what it looks like when it's done, because it's gonna be amazing. Both of her and I have talked about how much we love this knit. Like, obsessively love it. Again, I knit it in 11 days. Like, it's a shawl that knits itself. It is fingering weight. I'm stuck. Held double. So it really flies by. I think it's knit on like a size 8, or that's what the pattern calls for, something like that. And it fades 3 skeins of yarn. And the way it fades is really cool and makes it so things just blend beautifully. I've seen it done. I knit this out of yarn from the Perfect Stitch Fiber Company. All 3 skeins were from her, and the darkest one is actually an over dye of the middle one. So they blended they faded well, even without all of the switching and blending and whatnot. But I've seen other ones that are just 3 totally different colors, and it looks just as cool. So anyway, all of this to say, Chevis and I are having a knit along. Woo! We are going to do a knit along for the In the Light shawl, and we're gonna have our own hashtag In the Light Cal. I couldn't come up with that. I got nothing. And we are gonna start it on September 1st. So you have plenty of time to go dig through your stash and find 3 skeins of yarn that go well together. They don't have to blend, they don't have to fade. You want to stick them together and join us. That's all the details we have. Maybe we'll both have chatter and finished objects. Maybe it'll be one of each. I don't know. But it starts September 1st. Get the pattern, find your yarn, do it, because we're both really excited about this shawl. And like I said earlier, there are not many patterns other than like vanilla hats or vanilla socks that I want to knit twice. This one, I do. I want to knit it 12 million times because it's that fun to knit. I think I'm gonna wear the snot out of it this winter. And yeah, I think I have like many possibilities of what I could do, but this is what struck my fancy today. and may just forever strike my fancy. So it'll be different, which is what I want. I realized I literally pulled out my entire stash the other day. And all of my cool blendy ones were all these like cool colors, like the blues and stuff that's already in this one. Not what I wanted to do again. So this will be sparkly too, which makes me so happy. But I think this might be. By September 1st, I might change my mind. But my possible in the light number 2 will be, I can't say this darn name, Soiree. It was a special edition colorway from Honeybee Knits. I'm going to show you the name. Are you going to focus? There we go. There's the name. Another one I'm probably just overthinking. Up next is actually an acquisition, and my only acquisition, and it's the Knit Two Together Club for August from Hue Loco, and it's the You Wanna Double, or Wanna Double? Wanna Double. Stellina base. And then the final color makes me so happy, is from Sweet Tea Yarns, which is Miss Molly Klein, and it is her In Sync colorway. Just got paid. And it's green and it's sparkly and I love it. And I think what really inspired me was seeing the green mini that came with that. I don't know. I think they work together. Let me know if you think otherwise. Do I need to rethink my possible in the light? But I don't know. Could be fun. So that's a possibility. So that is something that is coming up. Another thing that is coming up is I'm getting closer-ish, although after my last episode I had some people unsubscribe. I don't know. YouTube is weird. Anyway, I'm getting close to 500 subscribers. That, to me, seems like a big deal. So I thought, well, maybe we'll do a 500 subscriber giveaway. We'll see. I'm not the best with giveaways. Also not the best with cows. Chevis, sorry about that, but I'm in. I'm doing it. So keep your eye out. I may be doing something once we hit 500 subscribers. So that's another thing that is possibly rolling out here in the future. Okay. All of that is done. If you don't want to hear any life stuff, because the life stuff is probably what's gonna like take this thing to an hour, let's be honest. See you later. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time. If you want to stick around for some life stuff, here we are. See if I can get the dog. Come here. What are you doing? He's sleeping in his box. Anyway, okay. Feel like I should have some knitting, but it's all not anything that I could actually do this and watch you guys. So, I'm in a mood today. In a mood, and it's not, I don't know. We're friends, right? I feel like we're friends. So I feel like I can put this out in the world and just talk about it. I am not a small person by any means. I have been smaller. I can't say that I've been bigger than I currently am. Maybe by like, oh, you know, 10 pounds, but I'm pretty close. I am officially back up to the heaviest I've ever been, which has really struck a chord with me. And it's something that has, my weight has been creeping up over the last 3 years. And that is due to a wide variety of reasons. And I have no one to blame but myself. I'm not mad at the world. I'm frustrated with myself today because I stepped on the scale, which I mean, we all do it, right? Like, I'm not alone. And so I need to be making better choices. I need to be smarter with what I'm putting in my body. I need to be more active. That's for damn sure. Like that has probably been the biggest thing that has changed in the last 3 years, has been my level of activity and how active I'm not. So I today rejoined Weight Watchers, which is something that I did when I first started losing weight. God, that was probably 7 or 8 years ago, and it works for me. Yes, I know that I could be just counting my calories and doing that, but Weight Watchers, especially their new program now, they've got this new one where like they have all of these like 0-point foods, which, doing some reading, like it makes sense why they're 0 points. They're not 0 calories. Nope. But they are 0 points because according to them, you're gonna have a harder time overeating on those things. Like you're not gonna sit down and have 6 chicken breasts. You're gonna sit down and have 6 cookies. So things like that just are better for your body, better fuel for your body. You generally don't overeat. So all that to say, I'm giving Weight Watchers another chance. Because it has worked for me in the past, and Lord knows I need something. I've done keto, which I love, but unless I am by myself, I don't stick to it, just because all of the other temptations are out there and I indulge. And at least with Weight Watchers, I have the flexibility to indulge from time to time and not completely derail me, even though that derailment is a total mental game that I'm fully aware of. So I hate that I feel like I need to lose weight, but I know that where I am right now is far from healthy. Far from healthy. And with school starting back up at the end of September, I need to be set in a routine that will be more difficult to derail once I add in the challenge of full-time school back on top of full-time work. So we're giving it a shot. So that's life. That has put me in a mood today, for sure. And all of it, like, I had set up for this podcast like 2 hours ago at least, and I've just been putzing and doing and this and that and just avoiding. But I wanted a podcast because I wanted to hang out with you guys. I didn't want to spend another 3 weeks apart, especially with the Cal coming up. But I also want to be honest that I know that I'm in a bit of a mood today. And yeah, but I'm also human. And as humans, we get in funks. And as a person who has struggled with their weight their entire life, I have days where generally when I step on the scale, it negatively impacts me. And I know it's just a stupid number, but it's to the point now where that number is really reflecting and how clothes fit me, and not a lot's fit me. In fact, I'm buying new clothes, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to keep buying clothes that are bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So we're doing this. And so I don't know, maybe there's part of me that's putting this out here on this platform to help keep me accountable. But I also feel like I don't see enough of me out there. You know what I mean? Girls like me, women like me. I feel like I'm being bombarded on the daily with thin women who are, you know, in great health and great shape and have a baby and then 3 weeks later are back to their pre-pregnancy weight and size, and I look at that and I go, I've never been that size. I've never been that way. I've never looked that way. I've never... It's bad. It's bad for the noggin. It's bad for the brain. It's bad, you know. Oh, quote, comparison is the thief of joy. And that is what's hitting me right now, is a lot of comparing myself to other people, and not necessarily in all aspects of my life, because Lord knows I am not in a place to have a baby right now. I am so happy with my life in general. Like, it's absurd. I am just not happy with my body, which kills me with how big of a role that can play in everything. So, I don't know. God, I hate ending it on something like that. Like, can we talk about something good? What's good? I have finally set up my Hulu, so I have been watching Handmaid's Tale, which, oh man, is that show messed up. Not a happy show. I've also been trying to catch up with This Is Us. That's another one that has its moments where things are great and then I'm crying. I have been watching a lot of podcasts, not doing any reading. So that is a goal that I've set for myself this month, is I want to actually read, not audiobook, but read, physically open a book and read it. And so I purchased this book a while ago, and it's Knitlandia by Clara Parks, I believe. And I have the copy of the book. I just need to crack it open and start reading it. So my goal is to read that book this month. I also have a goal to finish 2 more Languishing whips. So that can mean maybe my Comfort Fade cardi and these socks. I don't care. Like, I've got other whips back here, back in my office. I've got a lot of whips. A lot of them. So it doesn't really matter. But I want to finish 2 Languishing whips. This does not count because it is a new cast on, but something that's been hanging around for a while. So I've got goals, I've got things. Work starts back up next week. I've been enjoying this last week. No work, no school. It's been full vacation. I've been enjoying it, loving it. But getting back into a day-to-day routine will be good for me. So looking forward to work starting back up next week, and then we are full steam ahead with the year. So yeah, I really don't have a lot more to say. Again, why am I always so bad at signing off on these things? I love you guys. Thanks for sticking around to this point and hearing me just ramble on about nonsense, and I hope you have a great however long until you see me next time, and happy knitting. See ya. Bye.